At my sister's wedding, my mother toasted her 3 wonderful kids. I'm her only son. What I pulled from the gift box shattered everything. You don't get to play the victim now, Mom. Not today. Aaron, lower your voice. This is your sister's wedding. Exactly, and somehow you've managed to make it about you again. The room fell into a hush, though the music outside continued to play, muffled by the glass doors of the reception hall. The bridal suite, once filled with champagne and makeup brushes and laughter, was now an emotional pressure cooker. The smell of roses and hairspray clung to the tension like static. That's enough, my Aunt Nadine hissed, setting down her wine. You're not ruining this day with one of your little outbursts. Little outburst? I turned to face her. You think this is about me being dramatic? Did you hear the toast she just gave? Pause. Silence sharp enough to cut glass. 3 wonderful children, I repeated. She raised her glass and said she had 3 wonderful kids. They all looked at me like I was being petty, overly sensitive. But I saw the twitch in my cousin Matthew's jaw, the downward glance from Olivia, the way my mother still hadn't met my eyes. She didn't misspeak. She meant it. My name is Aaron Clark. I'm 26. Years old, people always say I was a quiet kid, polite. Mature for my age. That's code for, you learned to shrink yourself early. When you're the only child in a family that decides you're not enough, you don't shout. You learn to endure in silence. And if you do speak up, you're angry, ungrateful, or overreacting. Right now, I'm standing in a room full of relatives who taught me that lesson well. My pulse was steady, my hands, not shaking, not anymore. I wasn't here to ruin anything. I was here to finally be heard. Keep Mom, Linda, 56. Spent years emotionally outsourcing motherhood to other relatives. Took credit, never blame. Cousin Matthew, 28. The golden boy. Lived with us for 2 years. Got the car my dad left me in his will. Cousin Olivia, 24. Lived in my room after I moved out. Calls my mom second mom. Always got invited back. I didn't. Claire, my sister, 22. Technically my half-sister. She's not the villain, but she's never stood up for me either. Aaron, Claire said quietly, touching my arm. Can we just talk about this later? No. We've done later for 4 years. This is later. I looked at my mother. Her smile, the kind she used to wear at church or PTA meetings, was gone. Her expression now was something closer to disdain. You're embarrassing yourself, she muttered. No, I said. I'm exposing the pattern. I could see them squirm. They thought I'd stay quiet like always. They were wrong. You co-signed a student loan in my name without asking me, I said calmly. $42,000. I found out when I got denied for a mortgage. It was for Matthew, she blurted. He needed help. He was practically my son. I am your son. The air cracked like thunder. You always said you were the adult in the room, I said. But adults ask permission before ruining someone's credit. Inside, my lungs burned. Not from rage, from release, from holding this rot in my chest for too many years. I needed that house, Mom. It was 2 blocks from work. The loan officer said I had $38,000 in default. You never told me. You let me believe I had bad luck. Matthew tried to speak. It wasn't her fault. You were what? I cut in. Borrowing time that wasn't yours? They flinched at the venom in my voice, but it wasn't uncontrolled. It was precise. Sharpened by silence, I was 19. When Dad died, he left me an old pickup truck and a savings bond. Said I'd need it more than anyone. I cried reading that letter. But my mom cried louder, said we had to sell the truck. For funeral costs, she said. I agreed. What kind of son wouldn't? Later, I found out she gave the money to Matthew, to help him get back on his feet. He used it to fly to Europe for a 3-month sabbatical. I stayed behind and worked double shifts at the gas station. When I brought it up a year later, she said I was being selfish. I brought you a gift, I said, turning to the table where I'd placed a simple black box. I picked it up, turned it slowly, and opened the lid. Inside was a flash drive. I pulled it out and held it between 2 fingers like a sword. This has recordings, I said. Phone calls, emails, screenshots. Every time I asked for help, every time you lied, every account you opened in my name. Crash. My mother's wine glass slipped and shattered on the floor. If you think I won't go to court, you've misjudged me again. Everyone stared at the flash drive like it was a grenade. You've gone too far. Aunt Nadine barked. No, I said. I've gone far enough. My mother stepped forward. Aaron, we can fix this. Let's talk privately. I laughed, not mockingly, just tired. You've had 20 years of private. This is public now. You all finally hear me now? I said, voice calm. Or do you need another file? Claire started crying. Matthew sat down. Olivia walked out. No one came to my side. That's okay. I didn't need them anymore. I placed the flash drive back in the box, set it gently on the table, and walked to the door. Aaron, wait. Claire called out. I paused. I didn't know about the loan, she said. I'm sorry. I nodded. That's all I had to give. Outside, the music played on, guests danced, the world kept turning, and I felt free. Weeks later, Claire emailed me. She was meeting with a therapist. She offered to pay for the credit repair lawyer. She said she was sorry, not just for the loan, but for all the ways she stayed quiet. It wasn't a fix, but it was a start. I moved into a studio across the river. It was small and mine. I framed my dad's letter, hung it by the door. I read it sometimes before heading to work, to remind myself I didn't need a family that pretended I didn't exist. I just needed truth, and now I finally had it.